Hey guys, let's see. I'm doing a little video of what's in the little box. I decided to put together little Christmas boxes for everybody the day after Thanksgiving. So I got I'm feeling pretty thankful for friends and everything, and you're one of them. So what's in the box? There, there's already more stuff than can fit in this box, so I got to figure out what to do. But that's my problem. So um, there's like a little mix of things that worked for me this year. Like, so all of these are for kind of like just medium setup, relatively light tackle for stripers and all. Um, but so what I was thinking of is like, well, what did I catch along the Connecticut shore? And and it was like, yeah, stripers, maybe some bluefish, um, like little snapper blues, and then even like hickory shad. That's it. That's the what's in the back of my head because those are things that I have pretty good success with. So, you know my fishing spots. Like usually I'm down at the Connecticut River by the Deep. Um, uh, so yeah. So as we get into things, so some new little, pretty much everything here is new. Yeah, it's they're all like little whatever. Right. So we got popper. Okay, so we got the Williamson popper. Um, go ahead and clip that on, and they fly really well. This 130 size is well weighted for a medium-sized rod. Um, and yeah, and I like to just like pop it in as fast as I can. So like, kind of like every time that I'm like popping, pop, my hands like kind of going around the reel, taking up the slack. Um, and so that's top water, and then so maybe you want to go like a little bit below the surface, not crazy below the surface, and not throw any water. There's a redfin in there, so they all come in all sorts of colors and everything. I don't worry about the color. I just kind of get this like little 5-inch size. They're really light. They don't cast very far. So some people drill like me. I'm starting to do that. I drill a little hole in. I add little BBs. Like maybe like 30 or so little BBs. Some people will put like 10 milliliters of water in. Using like a little like kids like syringe, and then like hot glue over the top and seal it up. That adds a little weight to it, without like throwing off its action. This is like a little like it just like swims across the surface, so you can kind of go slow. It does have like a little lip, so it kind of pulls it below the surface, but it's pretty buoyant, so it kind of wants to stay at the top. And that's been a good one. Just kind of like let it swim back. And then another little swimmer, these A-salts, the Bomber A-salts. Um, yeah, these have been great right out of the box. So like this fall season, so all three of these have been like great in the fall. I'm kind of working backwards in the season, so these are like on my mind. Um, these little Bomber A-salts, they cast pretty well. Um, Not as good as the popper. The popper is going to be like that thing that flies right out for you as far as you can and covers water. But this one, like I'll do like slow, steady retrieve. Point my rod right at it, and slow, steady retrieve. I'll burn it in. So if there are fish around, I'll burn it in as fast as I can. Um, yeah. All right. So you got a few things there. So then what else? So let's say you're going a little deeper in the water column, or whatnot. We got I put in three little soft plastics, so that the ones that you kind of know. You have your standard Sluggo, so I think that's like a 7-inch Sluggo. You've got an Albie Snack, so you'll be able to feel like the difference between them, like how like loose and rubbery that thing is, and how this one's a little more stiff, but it's a little more it'll cast a little better. And this is called a Zoom Fluke. So the company's Zoom, and it's called a Fluke. And it kind of has like a little split belly where the hook comes out and everything. Um, you can get like little weighted hooks for these, but what I'm putting in is just like a couple of these little twist lock hooks. So I'll show you how they go on. So it's got like a little twist at the top. Got a little twister. All right, and so you don't have to. There's no rocket science with this. You just push it right in the end there. Give and twist the lure. Okay, until it's like right about there. Okay. Um, then it's like lining it up. Well, when you bring the hook here and you kind of see like, well, where does the hook bend go? I end up kind of stretching the lure just like a little bit and then placing my thumb, and that's where I want to pierce it, and piercing straight through, and then let it have a turn. And then I just kind of like check the alignment and everything. This one's not perfect, but it casts well. And then when they grab onto it, it pushes the lure down, and it'll catch on that. And this will end up looking like that when you actually catch a fish, and then just kind of straighten it out. And yeah, so these are those Albie snacks that I've been throwing out. I can't wait to try these in the spring. Little soft plastics like this, because and this is my favorite color, the amber one. I like this because it's very subtle. It's not bright. It's not poppy. And I like to just throw these out and just let them drift in the current. If there's no current around, I like to give it like a little pop, and then like a super slow retrieve. Maybe count to 5 or 10 in my head, and then give it another little pop. And so these kind of stay pretty close to the surface. So if you do reel fast, they'll skip along the top of the surface. So those are the Albie snacks. Spelled like that, Albie snacks. What else we got? So yeah, then you've got with those same hooks, you could hook the what's that called? The Sluggo. You could hook a Sluggo like that, with the little twist lock and everything. But I'm also putting in like a little jig head like that. Basically, so you could jig head and put that on a Sluggo or on the Zoom. It doesn't really matter. What I'm trying to get you to see here is that there's like a little bit of variety in like how you can do these. If you want a little bit of weight, you put a little jig head on it, and it'll bring this down. It'll change the action of it. But yeah. So if I were to use this on the Zoom, I'm imagining putting that through until it gets here, and I'm gonna want this like little head. I could take scissors and cut this off and make it like a little what is it? Kind of match up with the head a little bit better, but I'll just smash it on. So again, I'm kind of like looking at where's the hook going to come out. That's where I'm going to put my finger, and as I'm just pushing this in the end, I'm just trying to all right, and then like push it out, and then have it pop up and see. These, like, that's good enough. So this will ride like this. This will fish like this with that weighted part kind of down, and it'll jig along. Yeah, it's got a lot of action. This in the spring is going to be good. You know, these soft plastics in the spring. So again, like if you want a little weight, either to get it a little deeper or to cast a little farther, you can put on like a little jig head like that. So what else? Then there's also like a little bucktail in there. These are, I can't find these anymore, whatever, but these are just, if you're wondering the weight, it's a 3/4 ounce. It's a 3/4 ounce. Again, Williamson's the brand. They kind of had like a little bit wider of a head. But yeah, these work. So you got a bucktail. It already has like the tail on it, so you don't have to go hunting down tail material. And then I'm putting a big old hoagie. This is a 10-inch hoagie. It's kind of like each of these plastic things. It's like you can kind of think they're going to be like a couple bucks a piece. You know, $1 to $2 for each one. They'll come in a pack of 4 or 6 or whatever. Like this comes in a pack of 4, and it's like 12 bucks. So it's like, you know, it's like $3 for this thing. But you know, you can catch a lot of fish with this. So this one, there's a lot of ways to rig this. I like just a single hook. Again, you can mess around with all sorts of other hooks, but there's a circle hook that's in here. This is not like a regular inline circle, not for like bait or anything, but it's just to get that like head strike. Again, pushing through and kind of getting a feel for where is it going to pop out the belly. This one, because it doesn't have a metal head on it, it rides normally with the hook point down. So that'll be the way that it keels itself in the water. It'll swim just like that. Okay, and again, this is one where there's a lot of mass to this, so this will cast further than some of the other soft plastics, but it'll kind of like in the wind it won't necessarily catch further because it'll catch, it catches a lot of wind. This is a great one for just throwing out, fishing at night, fishing during the day, in the spring, and just the slowest retrieval in the water. I don't even bother like doing jerks and stuff like with this. I just reel like super slow, like you might with like a needlefish or whatever. So that's in the box. Did we get through everything? Almost. I think. Oh, and then there's two more things. So most of this is geared towards stripers and maybe the occasional blue that might swing on by. The soft plastics, the blues will like destroy that. So it's pretty much for stripers. But remember that there, maybe you go down to the Connecticut River and fish for hickory shad. That's like a really fun fishery when you have an evening or a morning, because they'll feed all day. And the fishing gets great with them in the fall, starting September and on, and they're like clockwork. Clockwork in terms of not the time of day, but lighting. Once the sun starts to go down low and it starts to get a little dark, they really start to feed. But they don't feed. They really don't feed once the light is off. Once it is dark, it shuts down. So does seem to be a sight component to their feeding and everything. Now they go for like little, this is like a little inch. This is an Al's goldfish that I'm throwing in there. Little spoons and stuff like that. They have a small mouth, but they fight really well. And so that's why I'm going with like a small Al's goldfish. And they tend to feed pretty close to shore. You don't have to like hawk it way out. Like 20-30 feet from shore tends to be where they are, and that's why even something small like this they'll take. So they won't take some of these larger things because it's too long to fit in their mouth. You really need something that's short and stocky to get in their mouth. So yeah, you got that, but then I'm tossing in like a little sabiki rig. So sabiki rig, this is gonna be, it's like 6 feet long, and it has, let's see, 2, 4, 6 hooks on it. You can cut some of the hooks off if you want. You can cut it in half. I tend to cut this string of hooks in half, and I'll tie on the 3 hooks and throw it out. And then when I lose that, I'll tie on the other 3 hooks, throw it out. Now, the way this is typically rigged is with some sort of heavy metal, like jig or weight or something like that at the very end of it. So it's like hook, hook, hook. So you got from your rod to the tie-in for this rod, tie into this to the topmost hook. So you got hook, 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 and then at the very end is a weight. So I just happened to kind of like rig up a little egg weight on here. I normally wouldn't do that. It's just what I had around. What I normally do is I'll toss on like a little metal spoon that's about 1 ounce or so. I want like a full ounce to kind of get a little distance if I need to. And plus I like having that little spoon at the end because sometimes the hickory shad will go for that. So again, this is for those hickory shad. It's legal to have a couple hooks on the line. Not sure if 6 is necessarily legal for these, but I mean sabiki rigs are generally legal for bait fishing. So just say you're like fishing for shad for bait. No, I don't think that's a technical thing. We should look that one up. Because I don't want anybody getting in trouble. Yeah, so you got a mix here. Yeah, you got a mix all the way top water, all the way down. This would probably be the thing that kind of gets you the lowest in the water column. Most of this fishes pretty well in rocky stuff, but if you're going to be fishing around rocks, stuff like this, you'll lose. I think the last thing that I'm including are just a couple little angler clips. So the way these get tied in is that your line comes down and ties in. Here's a bigger one. Your line gets tied on here to this like little part up here with this part, so that you'd clip your lure on, and this little flat part kind of holds it in while you're fishing, and then you'd press and bring the hook out. This is great for swapping out hooks really fast. What I will say is that with lures I use the clips. So with the stuff that's like that has like whatever, I don't use it for the soft plastics. Any of the soft plastics, I cut the clip off. I tie this on with a uni knot. and that's how I do it. So like this big hoagie, that gets like tied direct onto the line. So there's no like clip or anything like that. Plus this hook is like a pretty, it's like a $2 hook. It's a big beefy hook, and the clips don't actually fit on this. Holy moly. Yeah. Happy holidays. Have fun fishing, from shore. I hope you catch stuff with this. And I wanted to put together a pack that like just kind of gets everybody going, and they're some of my favorite lures from this past year, and maybe they'll be your favorites in the waters that you fish. Take care, and thanks for being a friend. Bye.